Hello, Steve White, Steve White 89. This is just a short video. I was kind of baffled by this. Now, I'm a huge Transformers fan. I actually love the first... I watched the series, of course. I watched some of the later series as well. I kind of tried to follow them, but couldn't get into them. Then I got into the first film. I absolutely loved it. Like most people, just seeing Transformers live action was amazing. It's something we always dreamed of when you were growing up. You always imagined... Every time you looked at a car, you imagined how you could turn it into a Transformer. I don't know, and just to see that in real life was amazing. Then the second film came, it was awful. Everyone gave the film series a third shot with the third film. It was a bit better, but not much. The fourth film was bad. The fifth film was just embarrassing. Gee, how do we make another Transformers movie? Let's combine it with something cool. Kids like knights and dinosaurs. Oh no, that was the fourth film where they had dinosaurs for the Chinese market. Because, of course, they were trying to court the Chinese market for the money because they were getting partially funded by that. So they were scripting it for that, which is just a lack of artistic integrity, regardless of who you're pandering to. So it's just been a bit of a mess. And then out came Bumblebee, and I loved Bumblebee. I struggled to find merchandise. I struggled to find a screening because it was being shown like a kid's film with it didn't get the kind of release that the other films did. Now it cost a lot less money and it was more profitable on one level because of that, but it also didn't get the chance that the other films got with the screenings and with the open release and everything, wide release and everything. So I was pretty disappointed by that, but I loved the film. I saw it twice, and it's the first Transformers film I've seen twice since the first film. I saw that four times, because that's just how much I loved it. The other films I didn't see more than once, and I got them all. I did buy them on DVD and Blu-ray 2 and 3, and then the fourth one I got like a second-hand DVD at like a second-hand store for like $3, and the last film I don't even own it because I don't see why I'd ever want to watch it. So Bumblebee came out, it was great, and the best part really was the first part on Cybertron, and then everyone's talking about they were going to do a Cybertron movie, a Battle for Cybertron, a War of Cybertron movie, and everyone was excited about that. I was afraid it was going to be basically animated, but CGI animated within that context, with that look of the film would be fine. But then people were talking about it being animated, and I was a bit worried, and then it ended up being turned into apparently a TV series, and I haven't seen it. It came out on Netflix, and I thought, how did I not know about this? I thought it was going to be a film, and it was like delayed, and it was still going to happen though, but it was just very confusing. And then I heard that Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, the audio, God, I can't talk. The voice actors for the audio artists, I don't know what you call them, voice actors, were not. They did the original series. They were not in the new series. They were the original Optimus Prime and Megatron, and they weren't going to be in this. And I'm like, how can they not use them? They didn't use Frank Welker, I don't know how to say his name, in the movies because supposedly his voice had aged and he couldn't do Megatron, or they just didn't think he'd be right for Megatron, but they still felt Peter Cullen was right for Optimus for the voice, so he did the voice in all of them and some games and stuff. And I was like, how can they not have these actors? How can they not? I just don't understand. I heard that it was about money. They just couldn't afford it because they were doing this show, not on the cheap, but it was an animated show. It wasn't like the movies, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, that sucks. They should have put out for that. I mean, that's worth it. I mean, people would watch it just because it's the real characters. It's the real voice actors, so therefore it's the real characters. And then I heard something on Clownfish TV, which I found interesting because the series was done by Rooster Teeth, and it was done in Texas. And it wasn't union. So the reason why they didn't have Frank Welker and Peter Cullen and Frank Welker was because they basically sidestepped the union and all the reasons they use a union to be paid properly and everything. Because this is happening with other people where they were talking about, this video was talking about a particular voice artist who, because of the state he lived in, wasn't able to use the Screen Actors Guide or the Voice Actors Guide, and he wasn't getting residuals or anything. He just got paid for each episode, and then that was it. Whereas all the other actors from the series were union, so they were getting residuals. And I'm like, wow, how is that legal? Basically, Rooster Teeth, who did the Transformers series, basically they just moved the production to a state where they could get away with getting around the unions and hiring a bunch of scabs instead of the actual real actors, the real characters. So I don't know if I even want to watch it now. It's like the idea that they don't have the original actors, so it's really not Optimus and Megatron, not really. And the fact they didn't just choose to do it artistically or not have the money to do it, they just were being dodgy as hell. And apparently this is going to be a big problem with animation, because there's going to be a lot of animation made in the near future, because it can be made very much by individuals working at home as opposed to live action. So it should do really well, which is kind of surprising why the new Star Trek series Lower Decks has no international distribution, because you would think if anyone actually cared that it would be easily sold, because stations desperately need content because there's no new productions happening at the moment. So apparently there's going to be a lot more productions, and they're all going to be done sort of outside of Hollywood. A lot of them are going to be done outside of Hollywood, and they're probably going to try the same thing and try and bypass the unions and get away with paying just non-union people and scabs and people who are willing to take like no money and have no residuals. And it's going to make it worse for people who, I mean, it's just so unfair. If you do a series and that series continues to make money because it's popular, you should be making money off that, just like the studios, like everyone else. The studios want to cut out the talent. They want to just pay them once to do it, and then they get it as their property, and then they can make money off it for the rest of their lives and don't have to pay anyone anything else, and that's just wrong. So this is what's happening apparently in animation. It's what happened with Transformers, and I'm really upset because apparently Peter Cullen and Frank Welker are upset about it too. Not just that they're not in the new series, that their characters, it's the first time they've sort of been really done official and not use their voices. But the fact that it was done in such a slimy, backhanded sort of way, where they just got around. I mean, the unions exist for a reason, to take care of talent and to take care of people and make sure everything's fair and equal and everyone's treated. I mean, that's why unions are created. That's why they're there for. And if you can get around them, I mean, then you have the situation where people who are union can't get work, and the ones who aren't union get the scabs get the work for cheaper, and they just ruin it for everyone, because then the deals that are left afterwards, after they've gotten used to using these people on the cheap with no benefits or anything, or residuals or any of the usual things that the talent would get. It's just a mess. So I'm very disappointed. And I just want to talk about, I didn't know this was happening. I just, like I said, I didn't know the series had even been released. I'd heard there might have been a series instead of a movie, but as far as I knew, they were still making a movie, and it was going to be CGI, but it was going to be like live action style CGI, not like cartoon. So I haven't seen any of it. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. And I'm just curious what other people think. I'm curious if anyone knows anything more about this. I couldn't really find much. Feel free to let me know. Feel free to message me. But yeah, I think I'm pretty much going to go. I'm really surprised I talked this long about it, but I guess I'm upset about it because I love Peter Cullen. I really respect his voicing of Optimus Prime. He based Optimus Prime on his brother, who died in the war, who was apparently this incredibly brave and sort of masculine and strong sort of person in his life. And every time he does Optimus's voice, he's doing a tribute to his brother. And just that, alone with just the history of it, it's Optimus to me, and it's Transformers to me, and the idea that, I mean, I kind of got why they got rid of Peter Cullen in the movies, because he's Megatron, wasn't the sort of scary monster sort of version that they wanted for the film. So I kind of get that. Whereas Optimus was the same old Optimus, so I understand why they kind of did that. That was almost an artistic thing because they certainly had the money to do it if they wanted Peter Welker. Frank Welker. Yeah, the idea of it without Peter is just... But yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. If you know anything, let me know. I'll probably post this on a couple of the Facebook Transformer pages and see if anyone has anything to say about it or have a bit of a look through those. I'm just really disappointed to find this out, and it was done the way it was done.